Oh, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Kryptonian Saiyan here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 81. Holy shit. You guys called it. You said, I can't wait to see your next reaction. I want to see what you think about the next chapter. Holy shit. You want to know what I think about the next chapter? That dude, Luffy, man. Luffy, woohoo, yo. That shit was hot, man. That shit was hot. This is after Nami like comes through and she's like, Luffy, help. Like, as prideful as she is, you knew that like that took everything she had to ask him for help. I'm starting at the end because I just read this shit. And you know that it took everything in her to ask for help. But that ending, when he just knocks through the fucking gate and he says, which one is Arlong? That right there, like, that's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. That's good right there. That's good. That's good. I like that. Luffy, man, just going balls deep on this right here. I love this, man. Luffy just let the nuts hang and said, if you're gonna kick, you're gonna kick. If not, let's just get right to it. So let me just go ahead and backtrack now, right? So the ending aside, this chapter overall, I really enjoyed it because you see the progression with Nami, and like the just the build up from how Oda's weaved everything in from her past to how she's been acting beforehand. And like the I said to you guys in passing, I've been watching the One Piece anime off and on. I'm about a arc and a half behind, and I had questions about why Nami was stealing treasure and stuff in one of the very first episodes. And just taking all that into account, it's really heartbreaking when you open up the chapter and you see the dudes in the Navy and they're counting her money and they're making light of it right there. Old boy, it's like that poor naive girl worked like a dog for 8 years to free her village. I mean, right there, how can you do something like that, man? I know how you can do it because I know dirty dudes, but look at that, man. All that money that Nami worked so hard to get. And she's being choked out by Arlong, man. She's having to basically swallow her pride to stand in front of this dude. Because you can tell with everything that she's had and everything she's had to go through to be in front of this man, shedding tears. Her pride is completely shot at this point, man. And the reason why I say her pride is shot is you don't show weakness in front of somebody that has an advantage over you. Like you always want to keep up that appearance, and you knew that this was going to happen because ever since Luffy and the others showed up, she's just been an explosion waiting to happen. I've told you guys in passing before, like in my experiences, with women, everything's all interconnected. And it's really hard to separate things. Men, we compartmentalize a lot of stuff. Women don't do that. And so I think she's crying because of the situation. I think it's because of everything. And just to see Nami smack Arlong's hand away. And she ran away from him. Don't get me wrong. And it's right after Arlong says, what are you going to do? Run away this time? And then she does it. And just that right there, at first I'm like, okay, I can understand why she's running. She has gone through a pretty traumatic event. But at the same time, when you look at it, it's probably best that she did run, because one of the things that you have to keep in mind is she's in the lion's den, and as emotional as she is, with women, again, this is my experiences. I don't mean to stereotype. I don't mean to say all women. I think any intelligent person knows that I don't mean all. But again, these are just my experiences. But in my experience, when a woman is that upset, she can go one or two ways. Well, one or three ways. She can either break the fuck down, or she can give you the silent treatment, or she can lash out at you. And Nami just decides that she's not going to give Arlong the satisfaction of breaking completely down in front of him. And even then, she's thinking about the villagers. She's thinking about her original cause. It just shows she has a really big heart, man. And I'm really loving that, because it shows how selfless she is. And ironic when you think about it, because anyone who hoards that much gold, you would think that they're a very selfish, greedy person, but it's the exact opposite with her. So again, just like the sense of irony in this was just absolutely beautiful, and just to see her approaching the villagers, and there's this shot where she has the knife and she's telling them like, look, you can't do this anymore. I got this. You know, I'll go get the berries and I'll free us. And this is after Genzo has been riling everybody up. And that's the mark of a true leader, when you can tap into the emotional mind state of others and get everyone on the same wavelength. And that's what Genzo did. And granted, they all had a common enemy, but you have that many different personalities, and to be able to all just get everyone into one thing, corral them all. That was very impressive to see that. You know, he had a nice little speech. But this is what I'm talking about right here. She says, stop it. Stop it, everyone. I don't want anyone else to be hurt by them. They'll kill you all if you fight. And then this next shot, look at that, man. Genzo grabs the blade, and that's an unspoken blood oath right there, because he's saying like, look, you don't have to suffer anymore. We can do this. And like I said, just the symbolism behind it, you know, like you hear a lot about passing the torch. It's passing on the pain. It's passing on everything that she's had to endure. That's just very beautiful. It's little things like that that just blow me away with how Oda does things. And to see Nami looking at her tattoo, and again, I keep pointing out the eyes, like she's looking to her right, that's in the immediate. But the other thing about it is Arlong is over her shoulder. And when you look at that, that's the past and the present and the future all connecting. This is, that's, I mean, very beautiful. And that's when she makes the decision that she's going to cut off the tattoo. And just that right there, I thought that was beautiful, because she's saying Arlong's name and she's wanting to rid herself of that tattoo that's essentially cost her so much. Because on one end, it cost 8 years of her life. The other end, it gave her false hope. And you know, as one of my coworkers tells me, you know, delete all that shit. You know, like that's his favorite expression, delete all that shit. And it's the same thing here. And I really enjoyed seeing that, because it just shows how sometimes you can just get to that point where you don't give a fuck anymore. And that's what Nami is. And when people get to that point, those are some of the most dangerous people in the world, because you can't predict them. You can't predict them. And again, it's like I told you, you know, if you just go back to this shot, I told you everything is interconnected when it comes to most women. And that's why her decision to just cut that off, I want you to put something in perspective. If she would have still been near Arlong, in his vicinity, she would have tried to attack him. Because she's looking at that tattoo and she's thinking about him and she's touching him. And she wouldn't try to cut her own, like her flesh off and peel that tattoo off, because obviously they don't have laser removal in the One Piece world. So she would have gone straight for his throat. And that'd have been the end for Nami's story. But the other thing about this is, after she says help, Luffy does some straight OG shit, man. I love this right here, because it was just so smooth. And this is what I'm talking about. When she says help, Luffy takes his hat, he puts his hat on her head. And what I thought was very beautiful about that was the fact that right here, Nami remembers what he said. He says, don't touch my hat, it's my treasure. And just that right there, for Nami to be wearing Luffy's hat and to be crying like that. Oh, hold on, before I get to that, I want to talk about that shot. That's just a badass shot where the whole crew's assembled, man. That shit was hot, man. That was hot. If you can't tell, I'm excited with this chapter. I'm really excited, man. But getting back to Nami, just watching that and seeing Nami with that hat, and if you'll catch it, you know, like her tears are starting to slow up a little bit. And for me, it's like, well, you know, Luffy's going to handle this. And him giving her the hat, it's like, look, I'm going to come back for this shit. You know, I know you're worried that if we take on Arlong, we won't make it. Here's my hat. It's a very cliche thing to do, you know, to have the main character give a treasured item to the crying woman, the damsel in distress. It's very cliche, but the way Oda pulled that off, I give a complete pass for it. It's not cliche in this instance because it was shown and it wasn't told to us. He didn't say, I'm going to come back for this. She recalled it, but she recalls it after she touches it. So everything's interwoven. I mean, this was really beautiful. Some real slick shit going on right here. And the other thing about it is she's still connected to Luffy. And that's the one thing. And I think that it goes in what you guys have told me. Each member of the crew views the other members of the crew like family. There's a closeness to it. And for her to always have Luffy right there, oh man, that's just beautiful. That shows that no matter what you're going through, he's going to be there. And I thought that just spoke volumes about him as a leader. I really appreciated that, man. Like, that was really beautiful. And you know, you got the two stooges, you know, Johnny and his sidekick. You know, they heard everything. They had a change of heart. And they're preventing the villagers from getting slaughtered. I thought that was pretty cool. But the other thing about that is it's like, look, man, like you're doing that, but you turn on Zoro pretty damn quick too. And I can't really give them a pass for that, but this was a beautiful way to end the volume, man. Like, Luffy's going into action, doing some badass shit, but like that moment where he gave Nami the hat, oh shit! Like, it's too early to say this, and I'm not one of those reviewers that's real big on shippings and shit, but it's gotta be like a Nami Luffy shipping for this shit. Like, that shit was pretty hot, man. But that's it for this review. My chapter question for you guys is between those two scenes, between Nami getting the hat and Luffy breaking through the shit saying, where the fuck is Arlong? Which one of those impressed you the most, man? And I sweared a little bit in this review, and I try to keep it at a minimum. But I was just fucking excited reading this one, man. I was like, oh, I gotta just jump right into this. But that's it for this review, guys. If you liked anything I had to say, as always, comment, rate, subscribe, share. Greatly appreciate it. That's it. Thanks.